Good evening, everybody. This is the Community Preservation Committee. I'm going to read the COVID-19 wording. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 in the Acts of 2021, suspended certain provisions of the open meeting law, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom, we have a meeting ID number, or by calling the phone number of 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, the Assistant Town Manager, at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 100 prior to the meeting. So I'd like to say thank you, everybody, for joining. It's nice to see a full house. I'm going to have the agenda. I can share it on the screen if people would like to see.
Janet, just
yes.
to do, since we're back on Zoom, do you have to, do we all have to identify ourselves? Probably a good idea.
That'd be a good idea. All right. I'm Janet Pravadakis, the chairman of the CPC, and I'll go ahead and call out names. Julie, I know you just put yourself on mute. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Julie Murray, and I believe I'm the vice chair of CPC.
All right. Beth.
Beth Stidmeyer, an at-large member of CPC.
Jess.
Jessica Gino, clerk, CPC.
We'd be lost without her. Colleen.
Colleen Creaser, also at-large member of CPC.
All right. And Colleen, get a little closer to your mic if you're going to have some questions. Okay.
Okay, I'll try to speak up too.
Sounds great. Like you're talking to your kids. Jason?
Jason Mayo, representative from the Park Commission.
All right, excellent. And I know we do have a couple individuals from the public, as well as Dan Gleason, who will introduce himself for part of the public hearing. Again, I was going to start sharing the agenda. This is can everybody see the agenda?
Yes.
All right, so can I entertain a motion to approve the agenda, unless anybody's got any other edits or whatever that they would like to see added?
So moved.
Julie has moved and Colleen seconded. Now that we are on Zoom, we've got to go ahead and do a roll call. Julie, how do you say?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
Jason?
Aye.
And the chair says aye, so the agenda has been approved. Next on the
Meyer
agenda.
says aye too.
Oh, I'm sorry, Beth. I didn't. I'm sorry.
No worries.
That's what happens when my list doesn't continue down. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble tonight. Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And the minutes are for September 8th, 2021. I did not see any edits. Anybody else see any type of corrections, edits? There being crickets, I believe that there was nothing. So can I go ahead and entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written. Colleen.
All right.
Seconded.
Julie seconded. All right, let's go through everybody. Beth.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead. All right, Jess.
Aye.
Jason.
Aye.
Julie.
Aye.
And Colleen.
Aye.
And the chairman says aye, so the minutes have been accepted as written. Excellent. All right. Next on the agenda, if there really isn't, I know that really anything else, I wanted to get right into the public hearing because it was supposed to start at 7:05 for the Ayer Shirley Regional School District, the athletic field project. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. I'm going to call that to order. And bear with me, I'm going to get the print off. This was posted, as you can see on the newspaper, twice, 2 weeks prior to this meeting. So we have legal notice, Town of Ayer Community Preservation Committee, notice of public hearing. Regarding the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Athletic Project, notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, Section 5B1, the Community Preservation Act. The Ayer Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 6th at 7:05 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to review the application from the Ayer member of the Ayer Shirley Regional School District for CPA funds to help support the town of Ayer's portion of the high school athletic field project used by the residents of Ayer. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2021, the meeting will be conducted via remote means. All the residents, members of the general public, and any persons interested or wishing to be heard on the application request are advised to call into the meeting that will be live streamed on APEC. There will be a phone number provided on the screen during the meeting. Contact Town Hall at 978-772-8220. Again, it's not going to be live streamed. It will be available, and it was available on the agenda. That's the new update. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Dan Gleason, who is the spokesperson for the Ayer Shirley Regional School District Field Project. And I know he has a presentation that he would like to give. Hold on, let me get everybody back again. Let me stop sharing. I'm sorry. That would help. All right, and okay, hold on a second. Cindy, forgive me. I thought that I could go ahead and allow somebody else to share their screen.
Oh, you should be able to. I can do that. Who is that?
Please.
Dan Gleason?
Dan Gleason?
Yeah, screen sharing is on. So Dan, you should be able to share your screen.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
So I have to grant access on my computer, I guess, for this particular application, PowerPoint, to be able to be shared.
Oh,
And I'm trying to select it, and it's not letting me.
While Dan is doing that, again, this is an item that has been voted upon by the town of Ayer 3 years ago. It was approved to go and fund the project. And with that, we have had some long discussions on the funding source, and CPC funds can be used from the open space category for active recreation. And with that, we've focused in on the track because this is an area that we do know that the town residents use it on a daily basis. So again, that's we had some pretty good discussions with the committee members of focusing again on the track and only the air portion of air portion, a portion of the project cost. How you doing, Dan?
It brings me to my security and privacy settings to grant Zoom access to share my screen. But it's all grayed out and it won't let me select.
Dan, I have the presentation up. Do you want me to see if I can try to share it? I don't know if I'll have the same problem, but
I made some edits, so
Okay,
I could email it to somebody real quick.
You could also just share your desktop rather than go to the PowerPoint presentation. And then you just, if you would close the PowerPoint, then we would see anything else you have as well. But if your desktop has the PowerPoint up and you go to, I think it should be like the first option in the upper left corner.
Yeah, it's the same issue. Zoom is grayed out within my system preferences, security and privacy. It's just not letting me add an application.
But when you go to share screen in Zoom,
I have to click on the lock icon to unlock it. Okay, screen share, PowerPoint, share, system preferences.
I'm sorry, Jan, when you get set up, I just want to point out, you made the comment about the track. The Park Commission also wants to make sure that the fields are available for rec use also.
Right. No, that we'll get into that. After the presentation, the town owns the property. Okay.
Right.
So when you look at the lease agreement, again, the town owns the property, and part of the memo, we're going to be having a memo of understanding, or memorandum of understanding that will go ahead and emphasize that as long as the school is not using the property, the town will be able to use the property. So, yes, Robert, I, and town council have been trying to generate something for the school district to sign. Does that help, Jason?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right, think I'm in business.
All right. So,
See this okay?
yep, we can see that. And Dan, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Sure. So thanks for your time, people that are on from the public, as well as you folks from the CPC committee. My name is Dan Gleason. I am currently serving on a subcommittee that the school district formed to help put together the final design elements of the project that was approved by Ayer voters back in December of 2018. And this is to upgrade the athletic facility at the high school up on Washington Street to be modernized for the current athletic activities and student activities based upon many changes that have occurred in high school sports and the like since 1964 when the original facility was built. So I was a member of the school committee in Ayer and then the Ayer Shirley region for 11 years from 2008 through 2019. And had a passion for this particular project, was one of the people instrumental in getting it out into the public initially. Unfortunately, we suffered 2 debt exclusion setbacks in Shirley, which delayed us from this happening sooner. As I mentioned, Ayer approved its debt exclusion in 2018 in December. Finally, in May of this year, Shirley did pass the debt exclusion for covering their cost, share of the cost. And so we are ready to move forward into, as I mentioned, we're in design now. And then once there was a timeline that I'll go through later on, but we will then move into putting this out to bid and hiring a contractor, and then construction should start next spring. So I want to thank the CPC for its time in a couple different meetings I've appeared at, guidance in making sure I approach the application correctly and put together a proper presentation for tonight's session. So thank you to all the members for entertaining this request and for your guidance and assistance in getting to this point. So my agenda will just be a brief overview of the project. This has been reviewed in public many times since 2018, even before then, before the votes, with public forums and the like, but I want to make sure people have a sense of, at least at a high level, what's in the current scope, because the scope has been reduced a little bit over time due to the challenges in getting Shirley to agree to a particular cost. I will go through the costs. As I mentioned, I'll go through a timeline. We have many letters of support from various members of town government and the public that I'll share. the list of, and those would be accessible if people wanted to see them through Janet and the CPC committee, because I've shared them all with her. We're going to look at the tax impact of the project as it is. And then if we had CPA funding added to this project, what the reduction in the cost to the Ayer taxpayer would be based on that. And then, of course, I'll entertain any questions or comments that people may have. So just want to set a couple of quick ground rules of what we're presenting, what I'm presenting tonight, and what it is and what it isn't. So as I mentioned, we're going to do an overview of the project. I'll talk about why the CPA funds are being requested and the amounts that we're requesting. And then some reasons why I think the Ayer citizens should support this particular request, and the town meeting warrant article that will be on the special town meeting warrant at the end of the month. But what it is not, just want to make sure we're clear that we're not going to be debating the necessity of the project, the design of the project. The high level design, as I mentioned, was gone through prior to the debt exclusion, and the voters approved debt exclusion to fund that high level design, which again it's been reduced slightly, but it's not really changed materially. And then I know there's some concern because we're a regional school district with the town of Shirley. I want to make sure people are assured that this will not reduce the cost obligation of Shirley. Ayer's CPA funds will go strictly to reducing Ayer's contribution, and I'll go through some of the details of what the Ayer's contribution is based upon the total, and how we then reduce that contribution only if the CPA funding is granted to the school district for this project. So I just want to make sure that was clear, that this will not reduce Shirley's cost obligation in any way. It's purely going to reduce the obligation of the Ayer taxpayer. So what is the request? We have requested $300,000 from available Ayer CPA funds. The amount was approved by the committee at its September 8 meeting, or their support was approved. This is obviously something the voters formally approved, but they supported it at their September 8 meeting. Per the Community Preservation Act, as I just stressed, these funds will be used to reduce Ayer taxpayers' portion of the track component of the project. So Janet could speak to this better than I, but my understanding is under CPA laws, a particular portion of a project, a capital project of this nature, has to be selected for funding. It just doesn't go to a general fund for the total budget for the project. And the CPC committee is recommending it go towards the track component. The track is certainly something that the public generally gets the most use of when it's not in use by the schools. The track facility is open as it is today, and it will continue to be, so people can walk, run, and take advantage of that, bring their kids onto the new field and kick a soccer ball around, wherever they might like to do when it's not in use for school activities, or it hasn't been, say, rented out or reserved by the Parks Board for, an activity of theirs, or private activity like the Bresnahan race every spring that generally uses the facility. So we're just focusing on the track component and the cost of that. The overall project budget, though, is $5.2 million. This is what was approved by the taxpayers of Ayer and Shirley and debt exclusions that happen in each town. Ayer's contribution is approximately 56% of the total, or $2.9 million. Without getting too much into the weeds on that, the reason it's 56% is in the regional agreement with Shirley for the school district. There is a capital funding portion that outlines how these costs of capital projects will be split up. And when something that is a regional project like this, meaning it's going to benefit students in both Ayer and Shirley, as opposed to maybe like an elementary school project, which would just really benefit the students of a particular town, we do have a structure in place, and it's based on something called foundation enrollment. That is a state of Massachusetts Department of Ed term, basically meaning anyone in a town who attends a public school. So they could be attending Ayer Shirley, they could be attending Neshoba Tech, they could be attending through school choice, Littleton or Harvard or another public school district. So once you add up all of the foundation enrollment students in each town, and this is a 5-year rolling average, we go through and we determine each year, what the allocation would be in that particular year. So at this current point, the foundation enrollment of Ayer students versus Shirley is 56% to 44%. So Ayer will be picking up 56% of that $5.2 million total. The request this evening of the $300,000, or the request, I guess, at town meeting, we're just reviewing what's going to be discussed at town meeting. That request would reduce Ayer's obligation from $2.9 million to approximately $2.6 million. So quickly, so people can see what the current design looks like. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if I leave something out people have questions on, I will entertain them. But again, we're not really kind of debating the design and the elements of the project. But I do think it's important people understand when we talk about the track specifically for this money, what we're seeking, we can go through that. So number one is kind of the main component of the project. This is replacing a current grass field with a synthetic turf field. We will actually add new lighting as well. What this field does is the current design, again from 1964, it was poorly designed for two reasons. One is no one's fault at the time, but soccer wasn't even anything anybody in America considered a sport at the time. So it was not. That's the widest field for a sport that's played on a rectangular field like this. So football and lacrosse and field hockey are all narrower than soccer. So it really needs to be significantly widened. There's also been some safety issues around the sidelines. And this was just a poor design, even back in the original time. Jumping pits for track events such as triple jump and high jump, triple jump, long jump, and pole vault were built right on the sidelines of the football field, where we've had students, athletes being tackled into those pits, and fortunately have avoided serious injury in my time viewing events up at the field. But it's certainly a safety issue that needed to be taken care of to move those jumping pits. So moving ahead to by number 5, what you'll see is those two long rectangular boxes, tan at one end and kind of red in the middle, are those where those jumping pits are being relocated to. So they'll be up by the fence that currently separates the facility from the parking lot. Then that'll also allow, if you look at the ends of the end zones, the green, and where that becomes red on the track, we call those the D rings because they're shaped like a letter D. In the top one, you'll see where the shot put will be, and at the bottom one is going to be where the high jump event will be. So we're able to utilize that space a lot better. Going back in numerical order, though, number 2 is going to have a new press box with an ADA ramp so that we can access that, because currently the press box and the bleachers at the facility right now are shut down. A complaint was filed with the Mass Architectural Access Board, who's the enforcement arm of Massachusetts Office of Disability Laws and Massachusetts CMRs and compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. None of that stuff is compliant, and when some certain changes were made, they were done at a time when the Massachusetts regulations had been updated, that any particular change back as of 2006, anything done after that would have to make their things accessible. There were some changes and things done. Actually, the press box wasn't even built at all until about 2007, 2008. So that should have been a handicap accessible from day one. It was not. So those things are shut down pending this facility being built and taking care of those issues with regulations. So we're going to have a new press box there, and as well as new bleachers, all accessible for disabled people. Number 3 in the bottom left will be a couple of storage units. Number 4 in the top middle, that's going to be a support building in that area. The issue with that right now, it's not fully designed, because in the negotiations with Shirley to bring the cost down of the overall project, they objected to the cost of that. Those familiar with capital projects and public construction in Massachusetts understand the Massachusetts Code of Regulations, ADA, and prevailing wage law really makes the expense of a public building more than a residential building. And so there was quite a hefty price tag that was being estimated for that. So the school district, through the school committee, has a capital stabilization fund, and they have set aside $300,000 for this project. Probably, kind of eyeing this building, and certainly there is a $500,000 donation from the Norton Family Foundation. Robert Norton and his wife were Ayer and Shirley, respectively, natives and graduates of the high school. And the current field is the Harold Norton Field, which was the Rob's dad's name, and Rob's dad was superintendent back in a period of time, I think through the 40s and 50s. And so because the field is named for Rob's dad, and because of their attachment to the towns and the district, They're donating $500,000, and Rob specifically have requested that his donation go towards that support building of restrooms, concession stands, probably some additional storage that'll be over in the area there where you see number 4. So, grateful to Rob and the donation from his Norton Family Foundation charity to help us support the cost of that building, because it is, at least the restroom part is required by regulation. So we had to have public restrooms out there if we're going to have bleacher seating. And again, it was kind of negotiated out of the taxpayer amount between the school district and the town of Shirley. So that's what that building is all about. We're going to have a new entrance over on the number 5 area on the left. There'll be the emergency entrance for ambulances, as well as the handicap accessible entrance, because we, if you're gonna have the bleachers on that side of the field, and currently today the entrance is on the opposite side, you're gonna have people, have to walk a lot further or get wheeled or whatever the issue might be to get to the bleachers. So we're trying to, shorten the path of people to get to seating to enjoy the game. There'll be a ticket booth as well as we have today. A little bit of improvements on the baseball field. The big thing is going to be the outfield, where you can kind of see a soccer field overlaid on that. That's where most of soccer has been played since the 90s, when Ayer High School started a soccer program. And that really destroys the outfield of the baseball field every fall. And then you get through winter into spring and the short baseball season, starting in April. The growing season hasn't happened yet, and the kids are playing baseball in a really poorly conditioned outfield. And also when soccer is being played, the lines of the playing surface go through that clay infield that you see there. So the major goal here was to put a retaining wall out towards the woods and be able to expand the amount of space there that we can use for the soccer field that would get the footprint of the field off the clay, because you get kids going through a full speed heading towards the sideline and then running from grass into clay. We've had sprained ankles. We've had games have to be canceled because the clay doesn't drain and it rains in the fall, and then they're trying to find places to play the games or postpone them, reschedule them. So a lot of challenges because with soccer on that field. Now, soccer will primarily move to the synthetic turf field, number 1. But we do have JV and varsity boys and girls. That's 4 teams competing for space for practice and for games. So we'll do see some usage that will still be happening on that field. So that's going to be resodded. And then currently there are no dugouts. We have very old, chain link backstops and fencing for protection of the players in front of a bench in lieu of the dugouts. So we're going to add some dugouts and fix the fencing there. And the dugouts are one thing where we're actually pursuing some further donations from local companies that may fund that we may not have to pay, use taxpayer funds for that. But right now, nobody has stepped up to date, but we have some conversations that had started with a couple places. And so number 8 is that soccer field layout, as I mentioned, and 9 is the retaining wall that I mentioned that we're going to expand from the edge of the woods out a little bit. So that's the design. Because the track is the core feature of what we're asking CPC and citizens to fund, just want to point out a few of the details here. So as I mentioned, number 1 is that long jump, triple jump area at the top that's going to be up at the along the fencing area near the parking lot. Number 2, that gray area will be some stone dust where we'll do the shot put event. And number 3, we'll do a discus event that'll be thrown out onto the field. 4 in the opposite corner on the bottom is where we'll do javelin. There's also some discussion of the reason that says rubber tipped is because javelin tips will chew up a synthetic turf field. So there is a special rubber tip javelins used by several high schools in the area and and even in colleges where they throw javelin with these rubber tipped ones. They don't destroy the synthetic turf surface. But when baseball is not playing, we can certainly just line that outfield to the right where the soccer field overlay is drawn on this diagram to also be an area for javelin. So we can reduce the amount of times we're even using the rubber tip javelins. But in a tough situation where baseball is a home game and we have to have a track meet at the same time and we're not able to move the javelin throwing to the grass, this does give us an option to be able to do both events simultaneously, a baseball game, for example, and track. Number 5 in that lower D ring is will be the high jump. And number 6, just be a practice area for the throwers to warm up, et cetera, before they do their javelins or discus throws. And then Number 7, we're looking at, again, a javelin runway that could be drawn onto the baseball outfield, or in addition, that little extra red piece on the side is going to be a pole vault run up and pad area. So pole vault was something that we haven't had for a long time. When the high school goes to district meets and state meets, that's an event that other schools are competing in, which we're automatically not able to gain any points, and yet our teams have actually placed very high and even won district and state championships without the ability to score points in pole vault. So we're trying to add the pole vault event back in, and that would be an area for that. So those are the areas that are specifically under the track design details that the CPA money would go towards. Here's a timeline. I'll just go through the major, task 1, task 2 headings, but you can see the detailed breakdown of the subtasks of there. So there's currently, they finished the site evaluation and consultation phase. Actually, we have one more meeting this week that'll finish the consultation phase. But as far as surveys and, drilling, soil testing holes and all those kinds of things, those have taken place already. And we'll get into this design development phase. We'll follow on, immediately. So again, we're a tiny bit behind because we're hoping to be there by September 20th, but we're going to finish up some final design elements this week. And then we have to put a bunch of construction documents together with our consultant, company named Activitas out of Norwood. Activitas will do this for us, but we have to get our construction documents out onto the marketplace and then take bids and evaluate the bids, and then, choose a construction company, and then we will start contracts and negotiations to award that. And the goal is to begin construction around April 4th. And then we will have the track and field area substantially complete in August, so that actually for the fall, the football team should be able to have home games. This fall, because of the issues with the press box and the bleachers being shut down, they're playing all their home games at neighboring towns' fields. So Lunenburg is hosting 3 of our home games, and the Neshoba Regional actually hosted the opening game, their very first one. So what happens with football is you play 8 games, and at the end of that, they kind of look at everything and said who's in the playoffs and who's not, but everyone still gets 2 more games. And so there will be 1 more home game, and where that will be, we're not sure yet. But anyway, point is, couldn't use the field this year, so the poor kids are having to play every game out of town. But by next fall, if we're successful in meeting the construction timeline here, football will be back home, and then there might be some extra work that needs to be done on the baseball field to finish the sodding and everything to get that ready for spring of 2023. And that's where we're at with the timeline. So just want to go through the probable cost scenario here and pointing out the track. It's got to change the, there we go. I couldn't see the slide because the little chiclets of everybody's videos was showing up. So anyway, this is the total cost as it stands right now, based upon some design changes we've made. For example, the press box at one point was not going to be changed, but we found that to make it compliant with ADA, to adding a ramp and doing some other things inside, it's going to cost almost as much, if not as much, to just not buy a new one. So those are the types of design things we've been working on lately. So these are the costs based upon our last design meeting a couple weeks ago. Highlighting around the 400-meter running track in those D areas. So this is the cost, roughly $800,000 estimated right now for the track component. And this is what Ayer would pay then 56% of that cost. And then the $300,000 would go to reduce Ayer's obligation to pay that component of the project. I may have put up the older presentation that doesn't have the tax impact. So hold on and let me get out of this. Apologize. Oh no, there we go. It is here. Not sure what happened there. I'm having issues with, here we go. Here's the controls. Okay, so there's where we left off. Estimated tax impact, and thank you to Robert Pomprion and Lisa Gabri at Town Hall for providing us with this information. So this is going to be a 15-year bond. As we mentioned, Ayer's portion would be for this sake of discussion for the left-hand side of this, $2.9 million. The $3.6 million is with the interest on the bond added into the total. So this will show you, Ayer's allocation that has to be paid each year, and then the tax impact, per thousand evaluation on a home, and then as for the average the average median house price right now is 353,000, what the per year increase would be. So you can see that beginning in 2024, if the CPA funding was approved by reducing Ayer's obligation by that $300,000, there's anywhere from a $5 to $7 roughly per year reduction in the cost to the taxpayer by applying CPA funds to this to this project. Lastly, some of the letters of support that we were able to get that we shared with our application to the CPC. One was from Dr. Mary Malone, the former superintendent of schools. She's also chairing this field project design committee. And Dr. Malone focused a lot upon how schools are very core to a thriving town. So having a thriving school district helps a town be thriving. We definitely have seen some student attrition due to the condition of our athletic facilities. Like a lot of football players like to go up to St. Bernard's where they have a very good program there. And then some have chosen, we see people go to Littleton, Bromfield, and so forth. We know that we'll retain more students and we will retain more student athletes if we have this modern facility to go with the modern high school. Mr. Steve Kendall is our athletic director. He's also the K-12 health and wellness curriculum coordinator. So Mr. Kendall focused not only on the benefits to our student athletes, but to all of the programs academically that focus on anything to do with health and wellness. He also mentioned the fact that the Page Hilltop School uses the facility for some of their field days, and they do a little track event where they test kids on like their mile runs and things of that nature. So this will be available, continue to be available to them, but it will be a much more safe and modern facility. Mr. Scott Hood, a member of the Ayer Select Board and a past chairman, provide a letter as well of his support for the CPA funds to be used for this. Robert Pontbrand, our town manager, did the same. And thanks to Jason Mayo and his board, and to Jeff Thomas, we were able to get a letter of support from the Ayer Parks Board discussing some of the things that they would be able to potentially do with their programs by being able to access not only the synthetic turf and track, but also the improvements of the baseball field, which, quite frankly, Jeff and his team do such a great job at Peroni Park. Their facility is definitely a higher quality than the high school, but once we fix the high school field, there'd be another field available for youth baseball to be able to take advantage of as well. And with that, I thank everyone for their time, and I think I kept it to the 30 minutes, Janet. And if there's any questions or comments, I'd be happy to entertain them.
All right, Dan, that sounds really good. I want to go ahead and make sure everybody knows that this presentation, as well as the letters of support, are going to be sent over to the town clerk's office so that they would be available by, I'm going to say, let's see, what's today, Wednesday, Friday. They should be available by Friday to go ahead and review. So I really do appreciate you doing all the legwork of getting all those letters of support, because again, this goes ahead and shows on how the town uses that property. I mentioned as well that we are asking town council and town manager to review a memo of understanding that this area would be available for use by the Ayer residents, especially with the CPA funds being used when the school is not using that property, or if it's been, like I say, if it's available for public use. So I know one of the questions that was asked earlier, with the lease agreement, the town still owns the property. So with that, it is a town property, so it is available for town residents. So that's just like the overall, but this way here now we get to go ahead and sort of like focus in because of the funds being used. One other thing that when Dan mentioned on how the funds need to be used for a specific focus, we picked on we chose the track and field area, and because one thing that the CPC funds cannot be used for is for artificial turf. Even the area underneath the turf, there's still some questions of preparing that land. CPA funds now are, being questioned to be able to use anything with the artificial turf or even the area, like I say, the preparation underneath it. So we went with the track because of it being the layout that it is, as well as, something that is active recreation. And that's what the open space items can go ahead and be used for. So, and I think, Dan, the project itself is being as energy and environmentally sound, where I think we talked even a little bit about the light fixtures that are going to be used, that they're going to be the dark sky lights. I know Beth asked the question, but with that, on how you're going to make sure that you focus in on the environment and such, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So thanks to Beth, one of the meetings I came to that was asked. I, at the time, was not very familiar with the dark skies standard. Brought that back to our consultant, Activitas. They were able to provide a couple examples of where they have already done dark skies compliant kind of lighting and aim to do the same here. And it's really just not just the right thing to do for the surrounding area where there is a lot of woods and we know there's a lot of wildlife that is in there, but it's just more energy efficient. We're trying to light the field, right? Not light the skies up around Ayer. So they are directing as much of the lights, and they are LED as well. Of course, reduces energy consumption, and that's been part of the problem. We've got these antiquated lights and lighting system, and finding bulbs and either controlling electrical areas are quite old and hard to maintain. So it's necessary just for being modernized, but then it will be LED, which will reduce energy consumption, and then will be compliant with dark skies to be considerate of the wildlife around the area.
Excellent. And one of the other things too, with regards to CPA funds, it cannot be used for any type of structure. So there's just no way that we could go ahead and assist with any of the bleachers, the press box or such. So I just want to make sure people were aware of that. Any of the committee members have any questions that they would like to continue now that you've got the presentation? It was nice having that tax information in there. Thank you for working hard on that with Robert and Lisa.
Yeah, that was kind of late today, and I was able to fortunately work it in, but it is an important piece of data for the citizens, I believe, to see that there is a savings to them to basically reapply some of their own money that they've already donated into the CPC budget to come back to them in this fashion. So.
Correct. All right, committee members?
Sounds great to me. I have no problems. Very good presentation.
Well, thank you.
I agree. This is Beth. It was good to see the presentation. I think you're pretty much ready for town meeting. And I also wanted to just clarify on the schedule that you presented, the site plan review, is that the actual site plan review before the planning board? So that the site plan review, like an application for the planning board, would be that would be submitted in the next month or something, and that's also an opportunity then for sort of public input into final design and site layout and things like that. Is that accurate?
I'm not sure, Beth. I know that Charlie, building inspector, is in consultation with Activitas, our consultant for the design and construction. But I don't think there's anything that necessarily has to go before planning board on this. So okay. I can ask for clarification because Activitas was the ones who drew up that timeline. I can ask what they mean by those areas and get back to you, but I can't give you a better answer right now. I'm sorry. Okay, no, that's okay. And I don't know whether there would be. I'm not particularly familiar with Ayer's specific, site plan review process, but there's no change to parking or anything like that. So I just wasn't sure, if that was a trigger or not. But I just saw it on there and thought I'd ask. So all right. Sorry. I hope I didn't confuse the issue. So no, but can you? Let me just on my side here. I stopped sharing, but I'll pull it up on the timeline. file for site plan approval, October 12th, and site plan approval hearing. Are those the line items you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, I'll ask Jonathan, our consultant at Activitas, and get you a better answer. Sorry, I can't do that for you now.
No, that's okay. Yeah, thanks for the presentation.
Sure.
All right, any questions from the public? I know that, again, we've got James and Pauline.
Janet, Pauline,
Yes, Pauline.
no questions. Dan, as usual, a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. I've always supported this project and I hope we finally move forward. So good job, congratulations, and thank you all very much.
Oh, thank you, Pauline. And I can remember one of the first public forums that we did where you came to it and expressed your support. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. You've done a great job as usual.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks.
All right, that works out good. All right, so our next step is getting and entertaining a motion of taking this to the town meeting on October 25th. Again, we've already generated, because the select board needed to review and approve the warrant articles. So we have placed a warrant article out on the, like I say, the warrant. With that, we can review the article afterwards, but I need to make sure that the board, the committee here, approves this project to bring it to town meeting. And can I entertain a motion for that? That you approve this project and bring it to town meeting.
I'll make a motion to support the project and advance to a town meeting vote at the October special town meeting.
All right, Beth?
And I will second the motion.
All right, Colleen. All right, let's go ahead and take the roll call. Julie?
Aye.
All right, Jason?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
Beth?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
And the chair says aye, so it passes. And so we will have this presentation developed and put for the town meeting. We'll see everybody for October 25th, and I think that that works out really well. Dan, thank you very much for, for everything that you've done. We really do appreciate it, and it would be nice to see this come to fruition.
I thank you and your committee for your support and your coaching and guidance through the process. First time I did this. Quick question though. So should I be prepared to present this or something similar at the town meeting?
Yes, this would be fine,
As is, okay.
as is.
I don't think people want me talking for a half hour though, so I'll have to go more quickly.
No, yeah. But one good thing about it
You
is
may
that-
not, I'm sorry.
No,
You
go
may
ahead,
not have to present, but you may just have to answer questions. You definitely need to be prepared to answer questions.
right.
Yeah, I certainly will be, and I'll be ready to present and go through it quickly if I have to, but thank you, Jason.
if you had to go through more quickly, I'd probably trim just do a really much briefer thing on the overall project and just keep it focused on the 300,000 for the track area
That and also to the taxes.
and the taxes. Yeah.
Correct. Just those.
Yeah, that's a good point. I could take the first slide of that's the whole project out and just focus on the component that's being funded, which is the track.
Yeah.
I wouldn't edit it, because like I say, you can just go ahead and go click. And
Yeah.
at least it's available so that if someone wants to go ahead, again, it's going to be available at the town clerk's office. But if someone wants to see the whole project, it's there.
Yeah, I'd keep the slide in, and then if it generated a question, you could go from there, but just have it.
And Janet, I need to get this to you as the official presentation. I didn't
Please.
email this to you because I just finished it, with the tax information a little before the meeting.
Yeah, I would imagine right by the skin of your teeth. Yeah. All right. Yes, if you could. And like I say, I'll take all the letters that you've sent to me and send them over there too as well. It's nice to see the support. All right. So again, we've already approved it. It's going to town meeting, and we'll be seeing you there, Dan.
Thank you again, Janet and committee. Appreciate all your help.
You're welcome. And so now I'm going to close that public hearing. Can I get a motion to close it?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded.
All right. You got it. So the public hearing has now been closed. That's the public hearing.
Do a vote.
All right. I didn't think I did, but I will. Jason,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Colleen,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
and chair says aye. So the public hearing for the athletic field project is now closed. Breathe. Okay, now we're going to open up a public hearing. And this one here is for the Community Preservation 5-year production plan. Again, it's been posted 2 weeks prior, so this all happened in September. So the text that I do have here still goes ahead and talks about it, the meeting being live broadcast and Zoomed, but as of October 1st, that was changed. So I do apologize. An update to the 5-year community preservation plan notices here given accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, Section 5B1, the Community Preservation Act. The Ayer Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 6th at 7:35 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to review the request by the CPC to fund the update to the town's 5-year community preservation production plan. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2021, this meeting will be conducted by remote means. All residents, members, general public, and persons interested wishing to be heard on this application request are advised to call into the meeting that will be streamed on APAC, and there will be a phone number at the bottom of the screen. Contact Ayer Town Hall at 978-772-8200, right, 8220. Community Preservation Committee, Janet Providake is chair. So I'm gonna, like I say, open up this public hearing. This here, the 5-year production plan, as some individuals know, that the last time that this was updated was all the way down in 2014. We held off on starting to update it because we knew that the town was working on a master plan, which was developed 2017, 2018. It was, like I say, approved and, accepted by the state of Massachusetts. With that, then the open space and recreation plan was then worked on and approved. And Beth, correct me, that was done 2018, 2019 timeframe. Okay. And
I think the approval was in 2019.
in 2019, it got approved. And then with that, we went ahead and knew that the housing production plan was being worked on by the Affordable Housing Committee, and that got approved again in the early 2021. And with the pandemic and everything, it was just more one thing after another. So we now have put out feelers back in 2017. But then we, like I say, pulled it all back so that we wanted to make sure that all these documents, supportive documents, were available so that we could try to keep the costs down. So we sent out bids to planning consultants that have worked with the town before, primarily the Communities Opportunities Group, as well as Jen Golson. And with that, throughout the pandemic and such, the Community Opportunities Group had lost a few of their employees. Well, we got the bids back from these companies, and we were planning to go with one of the groups that, like I say, ended up happening that they lost some employees. And in doing that, we now have given the approval to use Jen, I think it's JM Goldson, for their planning production capabilities, as well as they're the ones who did the original one back again for 2000 to 2014. So it's really good. And what I'm going to do is share, bear with me, we developed a 5-year or a scope of work to make sure that we've given them exactly what to identify the community needs and resources, as well as review and prioritize the community preservation funds. We wanted them to focus in on specific departments, as well as the taken into consideration with the 3% surcharge, how we can focus in on, again, the main categories of open space, historical preservation, as well as housing, affordable housing. And I want to say this ends up being a good time because of everything that's going on within the community of affordable housing. We've with the new project for Air Commons, as well as looking for extremely low and low income housing to help individuals out of Devon's Crest. So with that, again, it is a good timing, like I say, to go ahead and generate this. One good thing about JM Goldson as being the group, they are going to be able to use the GIS information so that we can go and look at available lands within Ayer to see what might be able to be acquired and such. Again, for individuals wanting to know a little bit more about the CPA, the Community Preservation Act, we have to go ahead and focus in on 3 main categories: open space, community housing, or affordable housing, as well as historic preservation. Those are the 3 primary categories. And as you can tell within the committee members here, we do have individuals that are legally bound to be part of this committee, which are from the Housing, Parks and Rec, Conservation, Planning, as well as Historic. So with that, we again want to make sure that we are covering everything that we can in this preservation plan. They are suggesting to go ahead and do many of these meetings between the different departments online because of the Zoom meetings, as well as having types of surveys, as well as public participation. So I think we are asking for her costs. The invoice came in at $20,100. We have a warrant article that we are asking for $21,000. Be no more than $21,000, and just in case there's other additional costs available. So that is again, the price that we're looking for. It has to come out of undesignated reserve because of it being a cost that's higher than $10,000. So we are bringing it to the town so that we can go ahead and get this production plan updated. Pretty much that's what I wanted to make sure that the public was aware of. And if there's anything that the committee would like to add, please go ahead and do so. I hear crickets. All right. Are there any questions from the public with regards to this request? That being none, I just wanted to go ahead and say this is long, in my opinion, long time coming, but it's good that we have all those other documents available. So can I entertain a motion from someone to go ahead and move this request forward to town meeting on October 25th?
I'll make a motion that we accept this and move it forward to the town meeting on October 25th.
Second.
All right. Let's do a roll call vote. Jason?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
Beth?
Yes.
And the chair says aye, so it is going to be moved forward to go ahead to the October 25th public public hearing, right, the town meeting. So that sounds great. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and have a motion to close the public hearing.
Janet, before you close, it's Pauline.
Yes, Pauline?
Where does one obtain a copy of this scope of work document that you put on the page?
I can go ahead and make it available to the town clerk, and I can also email you, Pauline.
That's fine. It was not attached to your agenda or meeting packet that I was looking for this morning. So if you just attach it to the website, that would be great. And then I will pull it off there.
Shall do. I apologize.
No, no worries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting. Did we? Yeah, we already did that, didn't we?
Nope, we didn't.
No. Okay. Can I entertain a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
All right. All in favor, Jason,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Jess,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
and the chair says aye. So the public hearing for the production plan is now closed. Excellent. Let me stop sharing this. And we're back. Okay. So with that, the next item on here, again, I do have the warrants. I did email you all the copies of the warrants, the warrant articles. Forgive me, I don't have it to share. I just realized that I printed them. Do you all want to?
The warrant will be getting mailed soon.
Right, it's going to be out by Friday, supposedly. Again, I did send them out to you all.
Mhm.
It's the school district. See if the town will vote to transfer from the Community Preservation Fund fiscal year 2022 balance reserve from the open space category, the sum of money not to exceed $300,000 to support a portion of the town of Ayer's cost for the creation of the new track area as part of Ayer's Shirley Regional School District's athletic field project. And then, like I say, you've got the reason for justification that it's usable by the town residents. The support will help offset some of the tax burden for the portion of town of Ayer needs to pay for the project. Town council didn't see anything with it, but I just want to make sure that we are okay with the warrant article.
Mhm.
All right, let me just go ahead and take a vote. Can I get a motion to accept the warrant article as written?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, Jason,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
and the chair says aye, so it's been approved. So we are ready, it looks good, for the town meeting. Then the next warrant article is to see if the town will vote to transfer the Community Preservation Fund balance reserve for undesignated reserve, the sum of money not to exceed $21,000 to fund the updating of the Community Preservation 5-year production plan. And I went ahead and stated a little bit more about the consultant is planning a 2-phase project to identify the community needs and resources as described in the scope of work, including all items plus GIS mapping of community preservation resources and updated resource profiles, as well as review and prioritize community preservation funds as described in the scope of work, including all items, and it includes a community survey as well as a public forum. So with that, are there any discussions on this?
Just
Yeah.
in terms of wordsmithing, I don't, and it doesn't matter if it's not changed really, but I guess I've not heard of it called I've just heard it called a community preservation plan, not a production plan, but it doesn't really matter. I don't think, if it does stay as a production plan.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably, yeah.
That might be a relic of the housing production plan or something like that, but it's not that important, but it's just what's going to be carried along with this project.
I'll see if they can remove it. Yeah, interesting. I thought, I don't know what I was reading. Okay. All right. I don't know why I had maybe, oh, you know why? Because I keep seeing CPP, and that's why I did the production, and it's preservation plan. All right. I'll see whether or not they can edit it. Can I get a motion to accept the warrant with a possibility of trying to edit the removal of production?
So moved.
All right, someone second it?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Julie,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Jason,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Jess,
I,
Janet, the chair says aye. So it's been approved, as, like I say, trying to amend the removal of the word production. So, excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. I do appreciate that, and I'm moving things all around now, so. The next, like I say, item is, I know we did have some correspondence with regards to the 5-year plan, and I did send the scope of work to Sarah Withy, and so I did take care of that. And the next item is just current business for the fall town meeting on October 25th. Again, this will be done from what I understand from James O'Connor, our new town moderator. I don't know if he wants to add anything, but he will be looking at, like any type of presentations and making sure questions are, are answered. James, is there anything you want to add with regards to the town meeting?
No, I think that you've done well. And I would look forward to making the motion and then adding any excerpts or comments that you wish to make regarding the article.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, that's excellent. It's good to hear. All right, so with that, I think, again, this encapsulates everything that we need to do for the fall town meeting. Is there anything that the group wants to add or? All right, then with regards to new business, I didn't write it on here and it's going to drive me bonkers. I know that at the select board meeting, discussion was about extremely low and low housing availability within the town. So that's something that the Ayer Housing Committee, as well as the Housing Trust, are going to have a joint meeting on the 13th. That's one thing that is going to be discussed, of how can we start focusing in on trying to get more of that. Again, the discussion surrounded around the Ayer Commons complex that is at 95 Fitchburg Road, that they gave a nice presentation to the select board. So we've got that, as well as, I know.
when is that joint meeting?
The joint meeting is going to be October 13th at Wednesday night, 7 o'clock.
I think, isn't it at 6?
Oh, it's 6. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Colleen. See that? I'm just testing you. So I think that, like I say, that will work out really well.
One thought that I had after the meeting was if there is any CPA funds or housing trust funds that would be applied to a private project like that's where we could stipulate that a lower income opportunity would be, like in the agreement, that would be with the town when those funds are allocated to a project that we could, we could request that there would be lower income requirements for some of the units. So just something to think about.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right, I don't have really anything else. Does anybody else have for, like say, new business? Jason?
Yeah, we're about to put our RFP for the remediation plan and the remediation study for the Kitty Junction. It's about to hit the streets. So hopefully we'll get some ideas and be able to present something in the springtime for a plan to remediate and replace.
Excellent.
Remediate and replace is that for Peroni Park?
Yep.
Yep.
And I just have to give the DPW a lot of credit for that, and what they've been a big help in helping us formulate that RFP and get it out. So excellent. They were going to try to help find other type of funding sources, or is that not? No, I don't know. Okay, no problem. I mean, again, not yet. We will, but it's just we're just trying to get the paper out. No, understood. To see what we're looking at for costs. Yeah, but again, CPA funds can be used for remediation, so
Right.
that works out really well.
I do think that the parks grants from Division of Conservation Services at the state level, those used to be an opportunity that we couldn't take advantage of because we're a smaller community. They had a population threshold for those grants, but I think that has recently changed over the last couple of years. So, with a approved open space and recreation plan and a proposal like this, a parks grant would be a great thing to look at, for a project like this. And then the CP funds, if so awarded, could be the matching funds for a grant like that. So.
Yeah, that'd be really good. We'll look into that for sure. This RFP is it's a study to see what we need to do, and give us an idea of what it's going to cost to do that. So I think once we get those numbers in, we can start talking about the funding mechanisms. Excellent.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Well, Jason, anything else for committee reports with regards to Parks and Rec? Nope. All right. Julie, planning?
At this point, we've just been going over the continued site plan review for 60 Central Ave. That's about it.
All right. Colleen, anything with regards to Affordable Housing Trust?
No, we are at our last meeting elected officers, which was a big step. Jake Driscoll, I think, is going to be the chair of the Housing Trust Committee. And we're working on rental assistance program. So we're trying to put a framework in place to use the CPC funds that seeded the Housing Trust. And then once we get that up and running, we'll be coming back to CPC to look for some additional funds. So more on that future. And then, we've been talking about Ayer Commons, but I was unable to make the select board meeting where I think they were talking about it more.
Yeah. No problem. It's been videotaped, so that's, so that's good. Jess, how about conservation?
Just a couple things. We had the select board agreed last night to keep our fertilizer bylaw on the town warrant, even though there's a likelihood the Attorney General's office will reject it. But I think enough time's gone by between when they did an earlier rejection that we could argue. Be good to give the commission a role to speak to its own community. So we'll see. Also, we're installing a new beaver deceiver on Shaker road at the inlet to Shaker Mill Pond. We're also discovered that the beaver deceiver can be deceived back on us, that the beavers have blocked one at Long Pond Dam, so we're going to have to deal with that one. That's it.
Those deceptions.
You know, when we heard it that they'd blocked the one at Long Pond, my first response was, damn.
Very good. Oh, all right, Beth, any update as well?
And nothing to report. There's some nice conversations that are happening about installing a trail at the National Wildlife Refuge along the Nashua River in what would technically be Ayer if it weren't for Devon's partitioning, I guess. But it's on Oxbow National Wildlife Refuge land. But there's this potential connection to Bishop Road and McPherson Road that would be really nice for making improvements there for bike and pedestrian access to that corridor. So that's been fun to follow up and work with the Stewardship Council for the Wild and Scenic and the Devon's folks and the Wildlife Refuge staff. So
Excellent. All right, that's good to hear. That would be nice. Then you might be able to get that little event happening so you can have a Saturday there that all the families can come out. That would be good.
Right. Well, we're actually talking about potentially closing down McPherson Road periodically just for bike and ped use only. So, like we'll just have to see what happens for that. But then the River Festival at some point in time would definitely be nice. So,
All right.
And
I know
picking poison ivy would be a good activity.
Okay. No, thank you. Let go. On the historical side of things, I know Barry is, healing. I had a email from Samantha from the library, and they may be looking for CPA funds to help keep historical documents such as the Neshoba, the Public Spirit, whatever it used to be called before that, Neshoba Valley Voice, to be able to archive all those online. And with that, again, being able to use the historical category to do that. So they are going to be developing a pre-application for that, which I think would be awesome, so that history can be stored somewhere. All right, so that's it. And on the housing end for the Housing Authority, we met things, like I say, we had a very good picnic, hot dogs and hamburgers for the tenants. They all showed up. They were thrilled to be able to meet in person and such. So it was a good time had by all. So I was very, very, very happy about that. So that's pretty much it for committee reports. Is there anything else people would like to bring up? Anybody else from the public would like to discuss anything? All right, that being crickets, can I entertain a motion to go ahead and adjourn the meeting?
So
I'll
moved.
make, second.
All right.
Thank you.
Everyone all in favor? You got it.
Aye.
Aye.
hi.
Aye, me buckos. All right, then I do
Have a good-
appreciate, pardon? All right, I appreciate everybody and see everybody on October 25th. Colleen, I'll see you.